Welcome to the Freedom Chronicles.
Definitely an antisocial type.
Only a few generations have been granted the role of defending freedom in its hour of maximum danger.
Hi, perhaps you recognize me. It's your favorite president.
In this present crisis, government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem.
We got a loudspeaker here. When we go into battle, we play music very loud.
With a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. My name is Mike Imbasciani, and this is the Freedom Chronicles. Thank you for joining us on another episode. We are, of course, broadcasting from the Brian Chapman State Farm bunker right here in Southwest Florida. And like a good neighbor, Brian Chapman State Farm is there for all of the insurance needs that you have for your very own bunker. Give his office a call at 941-625-9998 or visit the office at 2040 Tamiami Trail in Port Charlotte. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Thank you for joining us on this Thanksgiving special episode. With us, as always, Mr. Ken Lovejoy, and for the first time on the Freedom Chronicles, give it up for Bobby Sauce himself, Bobby Sausalito. Bobby, how are you, sir?
I am well. Thank you for having me.
Very good. Thanks for coming on. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yes, that's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm ready to eat turkey anytime.
So what do you do, Bobby, for Thanksgiving? What do you guys do? What's the Sausalito family do for Thanksgiving?
My folks actually moved to Florida from Connecticut a couple of years ago, so now I actually don't have to fly up to Connecticut, which is nice. But as a result, a lot of my family is still up there. So I just go over my folks' place. They live in a condo right on the beach, so we'll probably swim in the ocean for a bit. And interestingly enough, we're not huge fans of turkey, so we're actually going to do a roasted chicken and some ribs. Interestingly enough.
Nice.
All right. Ribs, no lasagna.
Yeah, it's an Italian. You got to have the lasagna. Come on.
Well, we have pasta all the time, and like it's usually just myself and my folks, so it's like it's kind of like any other day. Interestingly enough.
Yeah, good. That's good that you get to be with them. That's nice.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice not having to go to Connecticut, because when I moved to Florida from Connecticut, I was up there at a Christmas one time, and I was like, this doesn't make any sense. I'm flying up here and spending a lot of money, and it's cold. It's like, we might as well come to Florida, but they live here now, so it's a blessing. I'm so glad they're down here.
Awesome.
Yeah, Florida's the place to be, that's for sure.
Yes.
So tell us the story of Bobby Sausalito. How'd you get started in comedy? And great job, by the way, last week at Visani. With
Chad Prather,
man, you just you did a great job. How'd you get involved in comedy, and what led you to start doing your little video blips?
So I was a web developer for 13 years. I started building websites as a way to be an independent entrepreneur. I never wanted to work for anybody. So my last employer was when I was 22. And I just started the web development business, self-taught myself. And I sat here in this office every day and built websites for small and medium-sized businesses. And I eventually kind of woke up one day and realized that my dreams of having a big business was not the magic. It wasn't everything there was to me. And I felt like I kind of realized one day, like, you're going to die. And I just decided, I always thought I was kind of funny. I wonder if I could hack it making some videos on social. But I wasn't sure exactly what direction to go. So anyways, the way the story goes, my folks and I bought the house next door to us, and we bulldozed it. And I decided to go out there the first night that they started the construction, and the first thing they put out there was a porta potty. So I went out to the porta potty and made a video on Instagram, and I was like, yo, if anybody needs to take a dump, come by, like, fresh porta potty here, come drop a deuce. Anyways, a bunch of people said that it was funny, and so I just decided to chronicle the building of the house for the next 9 months. So I would go out there every day and be like, look, we got a stick, we got a log, we got a foundation. I don't know anything about construction. And I built the account up over the year to, like, I don't know, even maybe like 1,100 followers. And then the house was done. And I was trying to figure out other ways to make funny videos, but I didn't have a direction. And the election was starting to ramp up, and I care a lot about politics in the country. So I just happened to make one video about politics, and it went viral. And then I kind of realized this might be my angle. Comedy, politics, there's always going to be a drip of content. And I got 6 months now leading up to the election. It's hyperbolic. The content is hot. So I just made a video every day to the election. and then the rest is kind of history. And then I started doing stand up like 6 months ago because it just seemed like a natural. Yeah, it seemed like a natural extension to the online persona, like do it in real life. So the show that you guys actually saw was the third time I've ever done stand up ever.
I love
You
that.
did good.
Yeah.
You did a good job.
Yeah,
You did
it
a
was
very
really good.
job.
Thank
That's
you.
awesome. That's
I
good for you.
appreciate it. You're like,
Well,
you
and
suck.
it's cool that you can go. I mean, on Instagram at Take Naps. I love that. First of all,
that's a great.
You have 146,000 followers on your YouTube. You're currently at 4,000 subs, and that's great that it's growing. Did you really see kind of more of the explosion of viewers and followers from the political bits that you were doing?
Yeah, I mean, I had 1,100, I think, followers on Instagram when I first started. That was the only account that I had. And after that first video, I think I was almost to 5,000. And then
Wow.
I kept posting videos, and I think it was maybe 2 weeks or 2.5 weeks before I got to 10,000. And then by the time the election came around, I was at about 20. And by the time Biden got into office, I think I was at 25. So I built that 25 since the content stopped being hot. I built that up now to the 145. And then I got about 42,000 on Facebook. I got another 15,000 on Getter. And then I have over 100,000 on TikTok as well.
That's great.
Yeah.
Facebook. I remember. Facebook.
Yeah, yeah. You know, Mr. Lovejoy here, permanently banned and erased from the Facebook world. Badge of honor.
They don't want this. They don't want this content there, but
well earned.
Yeah, that is definitely a badge of honor. The thing about it is that what I realized later is that people want to consume where they want to consume, and I have to make sure that I appear in as many places as possible.
That's
so
what
that they
you
can
are.
Yeah.
I was looking at your what is it? Watch Bobby. What's your website where you can get the whole list of everything you're on?
Followbobby.com.
Followbobby.com.
Okay.
Yeah, every single social media site, many of which you've never heard of, he's on them.
Yeah,
good.
Yeah, that's
good.
right.
Well, yeah. And so, what do you think of the whole Elon Musk buying Twitter? And are you on? Yeah, I would assume you're on Twitter too.
Oh yeah, you got to be on Twitter. Yeah.
I hated Twitter. I always hated Twitter, and the previous, and you know, I think that Jack is like a communist basically, and the last guy, yeah, and like the last guy, Parag, he really bothered me because the guy came to this country, became a multimillionaire, obviously a highly intelligent cat, and he's gonna say straight out, like, you know, it's not our job to withhold hold up free speech. And it's like, screw these people. So I just decided I wasn't going to play there. Until recently, until Elon took it over, I didn't really post there much at all. And then interestingly enough, the video aspect of the app was fairly buggy like 6 months ago, and you couldn't post long form videos. So I'm like, this is my thing. It's videos. Let me just get away from this. But now, ever since Elon started, I've noticed that my content gets more distribution. The videos are actually performing better.
Yeah,
so, it's not shadow banned anymore.
And somebody was just mentioning that. I forget who the Twitter user was, but usually they get about at the most maybe 900 hits, likes, and stuff like that for some.
Yeah.
After Elon took over, 19,000 in one day. It's like
it's crazy.
It's like they just turn the open the floodgates. The censor gates, rather.
Yeah. Well, and you're seeing there's a couple stories out about Twitter right now. First, I don't know if Bobby, you saw that video Elon posted, that what they found in a closet at the Twitter headquarters. It was tons and tons of shirts that said #stay woke.
Yeah,
They never hide who they are. And Dinesh D'Souza just tweeted out a tweet that I thought was really, really good. We don't hear much about Democrats and leftists being let back on Twitter. Why? Because they were never kicked off in the first place. Their lies and misinformation simply escaped all scrutiny. Censorship has been deployed as a one-way operation against conservatives.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. And Elon agreed.
Yeah, he did.
I don't know. Yeah. I have a Twitter account. But I never use it. I'd have to find out what my
what your login is again.
But if it keeps up, I might have to, because that'd be a great place. We could throw the Freedom Chronicles back up on there.
And we're on Truth Social too, and like they let Trump back on Twitter, but everybody's saying his one tweet should be go follow me on Truth Social.
He's contractually tied to he can post on Twitter again if he wants to, but there's like a time. Like he's got to post it on Truth Social first, and then he's got to wait like 9 hours or something like that, and then it's some deal
Trump
like
doesn't
that.
Like waiting.
It's within there's leeways and stuff in there, but it's actually in the contract that he's got with Truth Social. So that's why I think the main reason that you're not seeing him on Twitter again. But I just love the fact that as soon as they opened up his account, his last 2 tweets.
Right.
What
there.
were they?
Be peaceful, January 6th.
Be peaceful. Respect the police.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard for J6 to say anything about, though they will.
Of course.
The thing that's terrible about it is that that's a historical record of events, and it's like you're literally wiping away history. And it's like, if you can do that to a sitting president while they're still the president, it's basically a flex. It's like the mob burning down your building or burning down something in front of your building and letting you know. It's like, be on watch, like we can destroy anybody. So it's just it's really terrible that they do it.
A nice presidency here. Be ashamed something happened.
Right, exactly.
So you've gotten into the politics. How old were you when you first started paying attention? Because for me, it was I started paying attention more come the first Obama years, and that kind of snowballed into now I have a show where I talk about it. But for you, when did you first start? Because you're from Connecticut, and there are conservatives in Connecticut, but few and far between.
Susan Collins from Connecticut?
No, she's from Maine.
Yes, Maine.
Okay.
Yeah. She was over there shaking hands with Zelensky.
Who's yours?
You got Dick Blumenthal.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right. Stolen valor, Dick Blumenthal.
Well, the governor of Connecticut when I was in high school was John Rowland, who was a Republican, and he got arrested. He got arrested for political favors and actually went to prison. And he was actually his son was a Democrat. Right. His son was a friend of mine. His son was a friend of mine later. Yeah. Like when I was in high school. But yeah, he was the governor when I was in high school. I wasn't really interested in politics until I think after high school, kind of like when you're kind of becoming a citizen of the real world. And that's when I kind of wanted to know a little bit more about the economy and how things were. So I started my first foray into politics was watching The Daily Show on Comedy Central. I always loved stand-up comedy, and I watched The Daily Show and I watched Comedy Central all the time. Very funny. Yeah. And I loved Jon Stewart. So that was what I was at first. And I was very much like, free everything, be a Democrat like every normal young person is. And then in 2000, I think it was 2006 or 2007, my friends and I, my friends went to, I think it was Philadelphia, and a guy handed them a DVD on the side of the street and was like, you need to watch this. There was like a bunch of people outside yelling, and the DVD was Loose Change by Luke Rudkowski from wearechange.org. So it was like this 9/11, and we didn't even know what it was. We were like smoking some weed, and we were like, let's just watch it and see what it is. These guys were yelling about this on the street, and it was Loose Change. And we're like, wait a second. You mean to tell us that there's like a global cabal that's behind all this stuff? How could this be possible? So needless to say, we spent the entire night on the rabbit hole on YouTube, and we ended up at Alex Jones. We ended up at all these documentaries like Kymatica, Esoteric Agenda, Zeitgeist, and a variety of different conspiracy, so to speak, documentaries. And once you get into Jones, you're like, wait a sec, there's like millions upon millions of people, and this guy's dropping literally like 150 videos a day. And you just start to open up to this world, and you start going to Wikipedia and referencing and hitting pause in the documentaries and going and looking and saying, oh, look, like Dick Cheney worked for this company and he got paid for this company. And it all starts to come together.
The frogs gay.
Say that again?
They are turning the frogs gay.
Yeah. So you once you get in there, I think my initial reaction was, I got to tell everybody. So I was on Facebook and I was like, you guys are like, they're gonna kill us all. That's what your first kind of intuition is.
Warning.
Yeah.
Your post.
Yeah.
Your post.
But people
Have you been banned, or not banned, but have you been put on a Facebook probation or anything with your posts? Any of your posts or videos?
I've had some of my accounts demonetized, and I have been temporarily banned from going live. Like on TikTok, I get warnings all the time. It's happened a few times.
That's
on
the
Facebook
only one That's the only one I don't think you should be on.
Yeah,
I think you should dump TikTok, but then you're gonna have to get a new phone anyway.
You can't compare it to the distribution. This is the thing. It's like, I always kind of, when I was in business, I always had all these objectives. But when I did this venture, which is the comedy, whatever purpose-driven venture, I was like, I have to have one North Star, and I have to just look at everything as if it meets that objective only. Then if it meets absolutely no other objectives, I'll still do it. And my objective is distribution. It's like, how do I get the message as far as possible? If I don't get my priorities 2 through 10, but I get number 1, then I have to do it. So when it comes to TikTok, it's like, yeah, it's not great, but if my objective is distribution, then I have to play there.
That's where all the people are. And if you can get the message out to the right people, then it works out.
Yeah.
Right. And then they'll follow me in other places. And there's no comparing the matching on the interest graph of TikTok. Facebook, Instagram, and every other social media is matched using like a subscription or a connection graph. It's like, I follow this person, and then I see their stuff. On TikTok, it's like, if you view political content, you get served political content. So the fact that it's based on your interests introduces me to so many more people that it's almost like there is no other social media platform that works that way or that well right now.
What sort of backlash have you received? Have you received any backlash on TikTok from liberals?
Yeah, I mean, there's always mean DMs, and I've gotten some very heinous emails and whatnot, but that just kind of comes with the territory.
Yeah.
But not,
I'm just wondering if it's like a Twitter thing,
No, like 99% of the feedback that I get is good. And but I have had, so like the most explosive backlash was when I started making videos about Australia. So Australia had this policy where it was like, if you test positive, you go to like a camp, or they call it a hotel. They call it a hotel or something, which is hilarious. But anyways, so I was like, I just want to let everybody know Australia is no longer a free country. Like, you guys, if you have this thing that they say you have, even if you have nothing, you go to prison. It's a hotel camp, but it's a camp. You're being forcibly removed to go here. I'm like, Australia is not free anymore. And as a result, on TikTok, this circled through the Australian airwaves a lot. And what I realized is that people in Australia, are very subservient to the state. They had those like one case lockdown the city type stuff.
Right.
Well, they all gave back their guns years ago. Just, all right, take them. Here you go.
And that made it easier to put them in camps, didn't it?
Yeah.
Right.
And
so they had this
them.
very visceral reaction to it, where they got really upset, and they started making these videos like, you dumb Yank, you don't know, you never been here, blah, blah. So this is but this is what I learned about the internet. And this was actually a really good life lesson for anybody, is like, I decided if you're going to make me the bad guy, I'm going to lean into it, because you got all these people making videos about how stupid I am. So I was like, how do I trigger them and it'll blow it up? So I made one back, and I was like, you're just mad that I'm standing up for your country more than you are. And they went nuts. So what happened was, there was a new repost video going up literally every 15 minutes about me in Australia. And they started getting real threatening and started accusing me of certain things and trying to dox me.
I'm going to hop on a Qantas airline flight and come up there and talk to you, mister.
Yeah. And it got creepy, and it got scary, and it was very, very weird. But it just made me realize that, like, I was then engaging with them personally. Like, they would insult my appearance and other things about me. And I found myself leaning back into it to try to trigger them, which doesn't meet my purpose. It's like, what's the purpose? The purpose is spread the truth to people. And I'm getting in these
Yeah,
spats
but
with
sometimes
people.
you got to have a little fun, Bobby.
But it was just like, it just wasn't the right. It just like wasn't the right
I get
attention.
it. You finally now you got to turn away from it. But yeah,
Right,
initially,
because eventually it'll
you
just
got to give it back
snowball.
to them. Yeah,
Yeah.
you got to give it back to them a little bit though, just to
Yeah.
know that they don't have any power over you.
Yeah.
And then go ahead and move on. Yeah, I totally get it.
Well, and I think that's where we are as a nation right now too, and that's been the problem. Ken, you've talked about the old Cheney Republicans of, take the high road, the Bush idea
That
of
was a
just
Karl
take
Rove,
take the high road, and we can't do that anymore because the
now we know
Democrats and the
why.
left have
Now we
gotten
know why.
so emboldened, and they just try to shove everything down your throat. And Republicans have to, and real conservatives have to speak up, speak the truth, and say, no, you are wrong. It's not just okay to have an opinion anymore. There is a difference between right and wrong, and the truth, and what they try to hide from you, and what the government has been trying to crack down on people. And that's what I think is so hard to get across to new people trying to see and learn the truth.
So, Bobby, how do you think the MAGA, the majority MAGA base of the Republican Party is going to fare in the civil war here in the party against the establishment? Because it is a civil war in the establishment. Maybe the MAGA base hasn't figured it out yet.
But it is going to happen, and it is already happening.
We got the big rules committee meeting at the Waldorf Astoria out in California in January, and there's a lot of people on the ground because you've got factions. You got, what is it? I think 2 or 3 people from each state, Republicans. They go there and they talk about what the big agenda is going to be for the party in leading into the 24 elections, and the rules about that regarding candidates and donation expenditures and stuff like that. So I kind of wonder, a lot of people are on the ground looking for any type of changes, because we got Romney McDaniel, she's the one who completely screwed up.
It's more of the same when you have Mitch McConnell and now Kevin McCarthy going in, and all the same players. How can
all the people that screwed things up, and I might add, took FTX money.
Yeah. So they're all corrupt
and did not. And in fact, you got McCarthy used FTX donations against fellow Republicans in the primaries. I mean, these aren't people that we really need in the party, but they want to get rid of us. They want to completely annihilate the MAGA attitude, MAGA policy. They don't want anything to do. They don't care about America first. So do you think we have a shot at making headway in getting rid of them?
Well, what I find is that the deeper that I go into all this stuff, the less I feel like I identify with the Republican conservative faction, as it were. And I think that represents a problem, because generally speaking, I find that, people that are conservative or on the right or Republican, or however you want to phrase it, tend to be more independent thinking, and they each have their opinions, right? And they're strong in their opinions. The left, just their general disposition is like, they will like blindly follow the dictate of the whole group. And what's so smart about them, it's like, smart, is it stupid? I don't know. Is that they always stay together. Yeah. And they don't target each other. And I think that the Republican Party, generally speaking, is like in a lot of ways super corrupted and garbage. And like, I don't identify with a Mitch McConnell or any of these other old timey Republican types that been saying the same old thing for however long, and nothing's changing. And I just find that, like, generally speaking, the left is just doing a better job. They're marketing to the youth. They're appealing to social media and ebbing and flowing with the times. And they never focus their sights on each other. They only look at the other side, and they demonize them, and they word manipulate. And as diabolical as they are, they're just better at marketing. They're better at branding. And I think that the fact that all of the media is generally on this side of things, which is the easier to control population, it just means that the right has to innovate, or we're going to get clapped. And I just feel like they're not doing that. Well, like, I went to CPAC.
They are. They aren't. You're right.
I went to CPAC, and I go to and I'm a Turning Point ambassador, and I go to these groups, and it's like, is this innovation? Is this the next dimension? Is this like, where's the Gen Z? It's like I'm going to go and cheer for for Ted Cruz, and Ted Cruz is sending money to Ukraine. Like, this guy's a leader, but he's Ukraine guy. And then there's all these other Republicans that are cool with Ukraine and cool with speech laws and any number of other things. It seems to me like
that's who you can tell. That's how you can tell, and that's what I'm talking about. That's the difference in the party. You've got the MAGA base and MAGA conservative elected House members and a few in the Senate.
Yeah,
and you don't see them. They're not supporting this the Ukraine,
they're opening. The rest of the GOP establishment is openly saying we're not for the MAGA. We don't want Trump to.
They're
to
for
win.
Wall Street,
right? And they're trying to say that, oh, we're losing now because of Trump. We can't be having this MAGA movement anymore. So all that is more infighting. And you're right. The left is always in lockstep. And if there is one person that starts stepping out of line, they quickly either get rid of them, or they find something on them to suck them back in and get back with the program.
Or if it's a reporter, they come back the next day with a retraction. Gee, I was wrong in my reporting. Yesterday.
Oh, yes. And, we should allow trannies to have drag shows, in front of little children in Texas.
Yeah. So, battle within the party. And because you've got too many, the only thing that the establishment will do if they win, if Trump doesn't win, if the establishment wins, if they can make it past the voter fraud that they're up against in 24, because nobody's doing anything about it. If they win, the only thing they're going to do is slow down the slide into the abyss. They're not going to stop it. They're not going to do anything. They're not going to bring manufacturing back.
Well, and Kevin McCarthy,
illegal alien cheap labor. They're doing all these little things. We're getting AOC and Swalwell. We're going to have hearings. It's nothing but a distraction.
And that's Kevin McCarthy. He said, quote, in 41 days, Biden's open border closes. In 41 days, we end one party rule. That's the biggest joke in the world. And in 41 days, accountability is coming. It means nothing. They're all empty threats, because when Trump was first in office, the Republicans had everything and they did nothing. So
that's right, because they didn't support Trump.
Right.
They were against his policy. They didn't want America first. And that's the wing of the Republican Party that we have to overcome. And unfortunately, it's going to be kind of hard to do because they're the ones in control, making the rules. They're a corporation. They're not, they're working outside the Constitution, really, when you look at the DNC and the RNC. They're a couple of corporations, really. And so the people running these corporations don't like MAGA, because MAGA takes power away from them. And so just saying, you're going to know, because they're out. All the MAGA, all the non-MAGA, all the never Trumpers are outing themselves already in their rush to anoint DeSantis as the chosen president for 24.
Who they think can beat Trump.
Don't we have a private Nikki Haley? Doesn't see? I don't like her either, but she's got something to say about it. You got Pence out there schlepping all over CNN, touting his books, so he's running if he's going on CNN. What do you think about all this? What do you think about 24?
I think it's really it just further illustrates the greater point, which is that a lot of these people are completely full of it. And Joe Biden's been corrupt his entire life. And Hunter is on these flights going to China, going to the Ukraine. It's like, you're telling me that us, your average everyday citizen that's getting information way down the stream, that we can figure this out, but all these dudes that have the power, that have the podium, they haven't been able to do it, and now they're going to do it all of a sudden. I think it's a bunch of BS, and I think that they're all a lot of fakes and phonies. And the fact that they say, like, Ted Cruz is the one that really bothers me the most. It's just like, Ted Cruz is cool with sending money to Ukraine, and he's over here supposedly this America First guy. I don't get that. And the other thing that really bothers me is like you have a person like Ted Cruz that will say, that's been in power for all of this time. And all of these people have been there for all this time, and they'll vote no. This is the one that really set me off the most, is they voted no on that burn pit bill. All right. The burn pit bill. They're like, oh, all the Republicans are against the veterans. And I remember just being like, how could that be possible? How would that be possible? Well, so I went online and I looked right after that vote happened, and I could only find one one senator, I believe, I forget who it was, but he had made a short speech or a written speech online about why they chose to vote no. And then you see Ted Cruz like in the airport getting interviewed by like TMZ, where he drops his comments as to why he voted no on it. It's like, if you've been a senator for 10 plus years, you've been in politics your entire life, how could you not know that you voting no on this bill would not be weaponized right back at you? How could you not be in your office with your social media person being like, I'm going to record a 5-minute video that tells why I didn't vote for it, and then people can go fact check it. It's like, you suck at marketing. You suck at marketing. You suck at branding. You suck at communication. You're terrible at your job.
Mr. Haney has never been a. Have you ever seen Green Acres, by the way, kids?
No, I
seen
have
Green Acres show. No. Go watch it. Go pull it up on YouTube and look up Mr. Haney on Green Acres and listen to him talk. And you'll, hey, it's Ted Cruz. He even looks like it.
Ken is our historian for the old times.
Yeah, I'm the OG.
Nice.
Yes. Well, we are running out of time. We have quite a few other things that we want to get to. Folks, don't forget, you can find the show on Rumble. We're not on YouTube. We should post on YouTube. Bobby, I need your tips on how to avoid the bad parts of the YouTube algorithm. But you can subscribe to the Rumble page, use that little QR code, and subscribe to the Freedom Chronicles Rumble page. Also, find the show on CTA. Go to CTVA.tv and check out all the shows on CTA as well as this one. Share it with your friends as well and get more people on CTA.
We're getting hot in Atlanta.
We are. It's hot in Atlanta. Support the show on Venmo at Mike-Imbasciani _1. We greatly appreciate it. Abby's is still closed, so Ken has not had his apple fritter, but
and those Publix donuts, they were okay.
Suck.
I mean, any donut in a pinch, but
very true.
I miss my Abby's. I hope they come back.
Yes. And Bobby, you were just at Vasani with Chad Prather there. I'd like to talk about that a little more when we come back from this. But my band, the Simply Eric Clapton Tribute Show, will be at Vasani this coming Tuesday, November 29th. You can get tickets for that at Vasani.net. Enjoy this clip. This is my band, Mike Imbasciani, as Blues Rockers, this past Saturday at TJ Carney's. And this is Honey Hush. we go. Honey Hush.
There we
Fun
go.
time. Yes.
Good one.
Thank you. You can go to MikeImbasciani.com for the full show schedule and come check out the Simply Clapton show on Tuesday. It's also my birthday. It'll be fun.
I'll be there.
I know you will be.
No running sound.
Yes.
Nice.
So yeah, Bobby, it was your first time doing that on stage. Tell us about kind of how you did your prep and what it felt like doing that as opposed to doing your videos online.
Well, you get that instant feedback, and when everybody's looking at you, you kind of feel a different sort of pressure than I do when I'm here. When I'm here, I don't have any reaction. So I can just go and I just go on it cold. And a lot of people find that really funny. But when you're in the room and you kind of have to feel it up and down, the last thing I wanted is to go and just free ball it and not know if people were going to laugh. So I was so nervous about it not working that I was like, I got to write it. I got to prepare. I got to get the cadence down. I have to have every single punch. And even throughout the 5 shows, every other show, I was changing a line here and trying a new one here and doing, I think, what comedians do. And I learned a lot. And I learned a lot in that 5 days. So I'm so thankful for it. And it was a lot of fun. It's something that I would certainly like to get better at.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's different. It was when I started out in radio, I'm always used to being a ham in the studio around a microphone. It's completely different going up on stage, and wow.
Yeah.
I mean, the first few times I was just flop sweat.
Me.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I've always done speeches. I've done speeches and I've done speeches and I've done presentations on topics that I know, and I always over prepared slideshow. I always loved to know exactly what I was going to do so that they really got the most out of it. And going up with a prepared speech is a lot different because there's no reactions. When you're doing the comedy, it's like I say something that I think's funny and they don't think it's funny. You're immediately like, oh no, like you got to go to the next one. When I gave a speech, nobody made a noise. They would just clap at the end of the speech and people would tell me how great it was, but there was no intermingled feedback. So comedy is it's an active sport for sure.
And you've only been on stage how many times?
The first show, which was Thursday, was the second show I've ever
done. That okay, all right. So you haven't died yet on stage. It's coming.
well, no,
thanks for the reminder.
You're gonna get up there, man. Hey, that host was really good, man. This crowd's ready to go, and then you get up there and everybody's just staring at you.
Well, but
and there's a guy in the front row like this.
You have already experienced. I told you this story. And I've mentioned this on the show already. My first gig back after the hurricane, that lady just heckling me while in the middle of the song, just saying, "You suck. You should be ashamed of yourself, making money off of people in a disaster. People going out. Why are you doing this?" And you said that night we saw you. You had a similar occurrence.
Oh
yeah.
Oh
yeah. The
Wednesday?
lady telling me that I suck when I came off the stage. Yeah, that was
that was true. I just thought that was part of your bit when you did it Saturday night. She actually said
that was true. Yeah, I came off the stage. It's like probably like a mid-70s, 80-year-old woman. She's like, "You suck." I was like, okay.
And it's always right after like you did great, you did a good job. You suck. You did great. You did a good job.
Yeah. I couldn't believe it. It was such a because people have told me I suck online, but nobody's ever said to my face, "You suck," and knew a lot about me. People have said I went to a college campus recently to speak to the Turning Point Club there, and people knew that I was affiliated with Turning Point, and they're like, "You suck there," but never has somebody seen me in real life and been like, "You suck," until that point.
You suck.
Yeah, it's really.
It was an 80-year-old lady. It almost had to be funny.
Yeah.
It was good. I'm thankful for it because it gave me free gas for the next couple shows. Like I got a good couple jokes out of it. And to me, it's a W.
Right, yeah, definitely. Because you got a line out of it.
Yeah.
That's great.
Exactly.
We have to get to our Patriot and Traitor of the Week. But Ken, you brought us a very special video.
Yes.
Of two people. That really are.
We see this.
We
see this. The best example I can give you is Mary Matlin and James Carville.
Okay.
James Carville, long time hardcore, just they're South Southern Democrat, big Clinton supporter. Mary Matlin, a Republican strategist.
Yes.
They've been married for decades. I think it can work with these two. Ladies and gentlemen, see if you agree.
Yes.
I apologize.
That was perfect.
I'm breaking all the rules. I'm breaking all the rules.
Well, I guess we might make some mistakes. Who knows? I know you.
I think one of the biggest problems we have in DC is that everyone's egos are too big.
I actually just prefer to have no titles at all.
You're opening yourself up.
I'm just being me. Let's go.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, it's gonna be a
that.
beautiful rom-com. I
That-
can't wait.
That was hilarious.
Yeah,
Whoever put
Elon
that
is like
together.
is such a jokester. He's such a jokester character. It's like you
He
gotta
is.
love, as much as like everybody has some beef with him for one reason or another. You gotta love the comedy of it all.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I don't necessarily appreciate how much taxpayer money he's burned through. 5.9 billion just with Tesla. That's before he got to the the space sticks. But
Yeah, right.
but I love the guy. I think I love what he's doing with Twitter. I would like to see more happen, because regarding, like you said, long form videos, and letting people back on. I mean, he's done some high profile, but there's some normal everyday people that have been banned for no reason at all.
Yeah.
That need to come back too, if they want to.
Yeah,
Exactly.
no matter what, it's a good thing. Like people, it's funny when I make the more accounts that follow you, the more fans, more views that you get. You always get more people chirping at you. And when I talked about Elon, I made a follow-up video, and I was like, I'm not saying the guy is saving the world. And they're like, he's bad, he's the Antichrist, whatever they want to say. And it's like, all I'm saying is that this guy is objectively doing one thing that I think's good. He's talking about free speech when he could easily just not. So it's like, let's just take the W and give the guy a chance. Let's see what happens. I would say that it's better than him not doing it. So let's just take the W.
Exactly.
Mike, you were mentioning Dinesh D'Souza's tweet. Did you see Elon Musk's response to it?
I did. He said correct.
Correct.
Yeah, correct. And it's simple, straight to the point. So, and he is seeing the right people who are saying that this is wrong, what's happening, and good on Elon for trying to make part of it right anyway.
And it also goes to the hypocrisy of the left. Look at how they touted him, because they just assumed that he was.
He
a
must
lefty.
be on our side.
He's got to be on our side. And when he starts showing everybody that, wow, he's an individual thinker, he can think critically with logic and leave the emotion out of it, unlike any Democrat, they don't like him. They turn on him.
Yeah.
Very sad.
It is.
Everybody has a hot take and a hot opinion, and everybody's so quick to chirp, but it's like, generally speaking, there's going to be a problem with someone's going to have a problem with everything that everybody does, no matter what it is, as good or bad as it might be.
That's true. Speaking of chirps, again, we've got the media this week, who goes out of their way. Obviously, it was some white cisgendered Republican Trump supporter who shot up the Q Club, and then they find out it's one of their own.
Well, that brings me. Ken, that brings me to my Patriot. We're gonna start. We'll start with my Patriot of the week. Our Patriot. That's just because you couldn't come up with your own.
No, what do you mean? I already figured that out. I already had it.
I bet you we all have the same. Are you going to say the guy that stopped him?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
U.S. Army veteran Richard
Fierro.
Fierro.
Yep.
There it is. Names are not my strong suit.
You're Italian,
Whatever.
and there's not an Italian name that you can pronounce.
It doesn't matter. There he is.
Yes, I was going to say the same guy.
He was great.
Actually.
Yeah.
Great minds think alike.
Exactly. Without question. The guy did what needed to be done, and God bless him. I'm very thankful that he was there. But again, this is a situation where the media immediately pounces. They here's the narrative. This time we've got them.
Oh yeah,
and it's not. It's one of theirs. Who also, by the way, all of your red flag and gun laws should have prevented this guy, because a year ago he's in a 4-hour standoff with the police, threatening to blow up his mom. And then he calmly walks out and buys a gun less than a year ago, and now he's shooting it up. Whose fault is that?
Well, and
That's
he was
not
probably
Trump's fault.
shunned
That's
by
not Trump
his
supporters' fault.
right, and he was probably shunned by his own group too. You know, he to go in there and shoot up the same folks that he claims to be the non-binary, all in this gay club. And of course, what is the left says? Oh, it was a drag star that stepped on the guy's face with his big heel. That must have hurt, because I'm sure it was a size 14.
Yeah,
but
well, yeah, he deserved
nobody
to
wants
get
to talk
messed
about
up a little bit on the way down.
Oh,
to
yeah.
the cop shop.
Nobody wants to talk about who the real hero is there, and it's a U.S. Army.
Well,
veteran
and now
who
that
took
you
him down.
and
Right.
we were just talking about this, maybe you agree or not, we're done hearing about the story from the mainstream media now that it doesn't fit their narrative.
That's right. And the same will happen with the Walmart one. The Walmart story, I don't know if you guys saw a picture of the guy. It's like
old employee, but what was his deal? Do we know? Do you know?
Well,
Tell
let's
us.
just say, as far as I've seen, it's not a white dude. So,
Shocking!
So you're not going to hear about it. You're not going to hear about it.
No, you won't hear about it. That's going to get buried.
Yeah,
that's right. So, but that's the thing. It's like, but that's why they're so diabolical. Is like they got everything that they needed to get.
Of his white mother,
right? Or they show a picture of Walmart and not him. The headline will the headline will show a picture of Walmart, not the guy's face.
You will not see. Yeah, you'll never see the description of who he is.
Right. It's like it's buried. It's buried down. Yes, it's buried down at the bottom because what they have realized is that the only thing that matters is the marketing. That's all that matters. They got every story that they needed out of this Colorado before the truth came out. The damage is done. 99% of people will not see that article that says that he's non-binary or whatever. 99% of people will never see that. They'll just remember that this happened and it's because of this reason. They've already circled the globe with that message for 3 days.
I talk about all the time. Yeah. People read the headlines, they don't read the retractions. In this case, they read the headlines, they don't read the actual details of who the person was. They only see that initial outburst. Oh, it must be a Trump supporter because it was a gay club that got shot up.
But why would they think that? Because it never is.
Exactly. Well, because they've been conditioned. It's like you said, it's the marketing. It's going after the younger generation. And when you plaster media all over the place.
Well, it's like anthropogenic global warming. Wouldn't you think they'd get one prediction right?
Yeah.
No, because they've been wrong about everything.
Because it doesn't have to be right. Because the only thing that matters is that they get the marketing out and then it goes away. Do you guys honestly think that this David DePape dude just smashed a window and broke into Pelosi's house? Of course not. The dude opened the door for them. The footage comes out. It's like he opened the door. If there was any more obvious about that story, it would be. We would already know the truth by now, but it's like the story doesn't make any sense. And that's why we'll never hear about it again because all the marketing is done. Joe Biden himself.
There was a happy ending to that story. There was a happy ending to that story.
Paul got the happy ending.
Paul Pelosi's beard got shaved from Congress.
Yes. Yeah. Hey, there you go. So quickly, Ken, who is your traitor of the week?
That would be the media that has been purporting this lie about what happened at the Q Club all week.
Very true. Yes. Yeah. My traitor of the week, it goes out to the Department of Health and Human Services, who is saying on Monday that we recommend once again returning to the practice of social distancing and wearing masks because, it's this long COVID that is persisting.
And that's why I have absolutely zero respect or trust in our medical system.
And what are we seeing? We're seeing a majority of Americans dying from the coronavirus received at least the primary series of the vaccine. Latest data shows that 58% of COVID-19 deaths in August 2022 were from people who were vaccinated or boosted. Thank you very much. Yes. Bobby, your traitor of the week.
It's more of a traitor of all the time, but I really have a very deep-seated anger for Joy Reid. I feel like she is like one of the most pervasive, like outward racists that exist right now in the media. It's like every single thing that this woman says is racist. She is so racist against white people. It's absolutely appalling. And she literally every single day will connect absolutely anything to race, no matter what it is. And then when things happen on the other side of her narrative, she never mentions a word about it. I think that she is one of the most prevalent and popular racists in America, and talks more about racism than any other person, any white person I ever met in my entire life. And like this person
and I'm a pretty white person.
Yeah. on top of that, the whole left and the entire network must feel the same way, or they'd have blown her out when she had her whole homophobic rant a few years back. But they didn't. They let her on. They keep her going
because it doesn't matter. Because they don't care. And it's like the other guy that really bothers me is attorney Benjamin Crump. Benjamin Crump, who is like he's the civil rights attorney. This dude makes absolutely every single imaginable thing that there is about race. And then he grifts off it and makes millions of dollars. And so does Joy Reid. And so does Jamel Hill and all the rest of them. And these people are disgusting, and they should be ashamed of themselves because they grift off this race baiting, and they create the racism to sell their books and sell their podcasts and get on their television shows and sell legal cases. These people are so disgusting, and they're creating so much more animosity for the community that they're supposedly pretending to help. All they're doing is making it worse, and it makes me very sad.
And with that,
we got to leave. We got to leave room for commercials.
Yes.
Here.
But Bobby, thank you so much for joining us, everybody. Bobby Sausalito.
Follow Bobby.com.
Yes,
Follow Bobby.com.
And at Take Naps on Instagram. From the bunker, everybody. Good night.
Thank you.
You're watching Conservative Television of America, working hard to stick socialism where the sun don't shine.